From Keller Stadium in Westfield, New Jersey, Verizon FIOS Sports is proud to present New Jersey High School Boys Lacrosse. Today, it's a top 20 matchup as the Big Blue of Pingry take on the Blue Devils of Westfield. Hi, and good afternoon. Alongside Colin Cosell, I'm Matt Harmon. Colin, Saturday day game here today for both of these teams, both always perennial powers in the state of New Jersey. This one, however, a little special meeting with the Bristol Bowl on the line.
Well, you've got two teams that are turning the corner, exiting the first quarter of the season. And, of course, the Bristol Bowl means this rivalry is renewed. But you got to look at two teams that are also trying to garner momentum as they enter the second quarter of the season. Both of them with nearly identical records, nearly identical names, but the identical goal to get a win and get that momentum going.
Pingry, a team 3-2 so far this year. They made that run all the way to the TOC final a year ago. Back again to lead the Big Blue. Spencer Duryea off to a good start so far this season.
Absolutely right. He's got 8 goals, 7 assists. The man can find the back of the net. He's a total playmaker. He's going to be one exciting player to watch for sure.
For this Westfield team, the Blue Devils 2-2 so far. They had a rain out a week ago, so they're trying to get their schedule back in line. They've turned to a sophomore so far this season to kind of lead the offense, Devin McLane.
Devin McLane, a sophomore sensation. What can you say that can't be stated by his statistics? 8 goals, 12 assists. I mean, my goodness, the future is so bright for this Westfield team, especially with someone with his talent.
Battle of the Blues here today as part of the Bristol Bowl. Westfield and Pingry coming up in just a minute. We'll step out for a brief timeout. When we come back, we'll have the lineups and the opening face-off here on Verizon FIOS Sports.
The new GMC Terrain is without a doubt the best SUV in its category.
No one can touch the technology that it offers to keep you connected and the safety features it has to keep you covered for 360 degrees.
No one can compare to the Terrain's spacious cabin, offering 8 inches of extra space for more passenger and cargo room.
And no other SUV can top its superb gas mileage and its low price. You'll get more and spend thousands less for a GMC Terrain.
At Greenbrook Buick GMC, Route 22 East.
Have you made the time to talk to your family about your final arrangements and expenses? The average funeral costs between $7,000 and $10,000. That's quite a burden for your loved ones. You have options. Call today to learn about the advantages of having a final expense plan in place to help cover funeral or other final expenses. If you're under 85, there is no medical exam. Your plan cannot be canceled, and the rates for this type of plan will never increase and benefits will never decrease due to age. A quality plan will pay up to $30,000 for funeral and any other final expenses, allowing your family to deal with grief, not worrying about final expenses. Call now. Our representatives will answer your questions, address your concerns, and give you peace of mind. Also ask them about a free prescription discount card. Give them a call. There's no obligation. Call now. Help your family today.
Call 1-800-386-4980. That's 1-800-386-4980.
You already have FIOS, but did you know if you upgrade to Quantum TV, you could record up to 12 shows simultaneously? And you get more recording capacity too, up to 200 hours of HD recording. That's 4 times more storage than traditional DVRs. With Quantum TV, you also get more control. Play, pause, and rewind live TV from any room in your house with a set-top box. And with the FIOS mobile app, you can take your recorded content on the go. You've got FIOS, so get the most out of the best. Go to Channel 500 to upgrade now.
It'll be the 20th time that Westfield and Pingry will play for the right to be able to hang on to that for the better part of this year and next year. That is the Bristol Bowl, a competition that goes back to 1997. Westfield leading the overall series 11-8. We'll have plenty of time to talk about the history of that game as we roll through here, but let's take a look at the starting lineups for both of these teams. First for Pingry, who comes into this one at 3-2 overall. Graves and Edmond will join Duryea up at the top. Brosi, Moss, who's been nicked up during the course of the early part of the season, will try and give it a go. Montserrat in there as well for the midfield. Simon Weiss and Martin anchoring things in the back. It will be Frankie Dillon, the senior, on his way to Swarthmore. He will start today, expected to play half the game before yielding things to David Metzger, also a senior. The two have split the course of the season during this part of the year. The head coach for Pingry in his 29th year overall, one of the deans of coaching here in the state of New Jersey, Mike Webster, who is in his 29th year. One of the deans of coaching in the state of New Jersey is Mike Webster. Took his team into the TOC final a year ago, 17-4 so far this year, 3 3-2. Let's take a look at the lineup for Westfield. The Blue Devils entering this game today at 2-2 overall. McLane, the sophomore who we spoke of, already committing to Brown. Nolan and Rittendale will join him up top. Oslanian, Warnow, and Bond. The midfield, McElroy, Dombrowski, and Prabilski. Good senior-laden defensive unit in front of Jack McCauley, who will start today, the junior, second year on the varsity, first year as the starter. Head coach for Westfield, Patrick Toohey, who continues to lead this team in his fifth year now. Always a gauntlet of a schedule for this Blue Devil team, always trying to challenge themselves, play the best teams in the state. Colin, before we get up and going, let's take a look at your Verizon FIOS Sports keys to the game.
For Pingry, it's going to be a case of managing Westfield's pressure, and Westfield is going to pressure them. They are a strong and physical team, and with that, they're going to have to utilize their defense. Their defense has carried them to some incredible victories, most notably against Immaculata, a game which you saw on FIOS 1. Their defense compensated for turnovers. In Westfield, they need to play physical, and they will play physical. They are a fast team and a tough team, and with that in mind, they've got to win the turnover battle. It's a game of possession. They win those turnovers, they get their offense going. Westfield is going to be a very tough team to beat.
Pingry today will be in the all-blue uniforms. Westfield will be in the whites. We mentioned the Bristol Bowl, the annual competition between Pingry and Westfield in honor of Tony Bristol, who was a former coach at both schools, graduated from Pingry in 1941, was an assistant coach and a head coach at Pingry from 1971 to 1981, then an assistant coach for Westfield 1982 to 1992, passed away in 2011. They started this back in 1997. Pingry opened up the series on a 3-game winning streak. Westfield has won the last 3. 2 teams did not play last year. You see our 3-man officiating crew today, Anthony Allen, Jeff Fritz, and Steve Peloso. It was a scheduling conflict a year ago, Colin, so you know that these teams are really locked in and wanting to make sure that somebody knows who's the better team in this one today.
Well, they've been chomping at the bit for the past 2 years now to get back at it. And, these two teams, they split the first 16 years, and then Westfield has taken the last 3. But with the year off, my goodness, that's only got to build up in the rivalry. These teams, not only do they want to win, as I mentioned in the pregame, to get their team rolling into the second quarter, but to get a win and get that Bristol Cup.
That one whipped around, the shot attempt by Rittendale. Picked up out of the scrum by Pingry, who will get their first chance on attack. Win so far for the Big Blue over Hillsborough, Immaculata, and Somerville. The 2 losses, 2 quality losses, beaten by Bridgewater, Raritan, and St. Augustine. Pingry attack set up here. Behind goal line extended for Enman. And now will be flipped back up top. Moss, who we just mentioned in the starting lineup, has been nicked up during the course of this year. He's committed to Notre Dame. He will do a post-grad year next year at Lawrenceville before making his way to South Bend.
Well, he was a game-time decision, battling a groin injury. Apparently he's feeling fit enough to go today. Coach Webster also mentioned to me that with Moss's injury and just in general, he's trying to get as many players subbed in there to give them some reps and try to give this team some depth as they move along in the season.
Yeah, it's not an overly deep roster for Pingry. Not in the traditional sense where they'll run out different midfield combinations. The starters will play a large chunk of the minutes. It's Kyle Dombrowski, the defensive player. He and Prabilski, 2 senior captains, anchoring things in the back. Stick checked away by Prabilski.
Well, there's that defense of Westfield, as we mentioned. Beautiful stick check. But then turning it over, something they definitely want to minimize throughout the game. Take a look at the stick check. Very nicely done. Unfortunately, the turnover thereafter. Pingry with the ball.
Pingry getting the players on that they would like. Drew Brosey, number 3, the senior. 3 high and up top right now for the Big Blue. It's poked out again by Probilski. Call will go against Westfield, and the Big Blue will keep it. 3.5 minutes into our first quarter. Good cut on the way to the goal by Brosey, but it was swiped at by Westfield, who will get the run going forward.
Both of these teams are coming off of wins. Westfield, really tall task in the beginning of the season, playing against number 1 and number 2 ranked teams in New Jersey, both of them resulting in losses. Most notably Summit, who they faced off against last year in the county final, beating them by 1 goal in double overtime. Revenge is bittersweet. Summit got the win against Westfield by 1 goal.
Blue Devils so far this year with wins over West Essex and West Morris. When you look at the schedules, and Westfield last year, a team that went 11-9, and by a lot of probably records, just looking at them back and forth, some would say, oh, an okay year, but the schedule that they play year in and year out is brutal with the competition.
Absolutely. I mean, New Jersey lacrosse is some of the best in the country.
Warnow. Curling back around goal. McLane will flip up top for his classmate Aslanian. Here's the cut through. Warnow will try and keep it. Pingry will get off to the races here. Good scoop. Ollie Martin, the senior captain. Wide open, look at net, and downstairs the goal coming. That will be Pingry who will get it. George Enman, the junior, to put the Big Blue up top 1-0.
What an absolutely stellar goal, and that all came at the hands of Ollie Martin, the senior who will not miss a single minute of this game. He plays every single minute of every game, and boy, is he a huge playmaker. The long stick with a beautiful pass to George Enman was absolutely no problem finding the back of the net. As you can see there, his 9th goal of the season, giving Pingry the 1-0 lead.
Jamie Zuzai on as a face-off man for Pingry. Quick scoop and a win. And then there's that stick check again. Probilski, that time on the hunt.
Well, in that game against Immaculata last week, Zuzi was just absolutely fantastic on the draw.
Rittendale going through traffic. Kept on here by McLane. Zuzai and Devin will be the guys who we will see during the course of this game, normally at the face-off spot.
Watching that Pingry defense, keeping the ball to the perimeter. A lot of that is thanks to number 7, Jason Weiss.
Halfway through our first. That one will make the back of the net. The keeper, Dylan, I don't think saw it at all. Warnow will get credited for the goal, and we are tied at 1.
Well, that was just a sneaky play by Warnow. There he goes, cutting down the field, and then he just zings it right past. He might have been screened, the goaltender, that is. Regardless, tough shot, tough angle shot, absolute bullet, notching it at 1.
7th of the season for Warnow. Junior is already committed to Yale.
Here, that's a good academic school.
Not bad.
Yeah, I've heard things.
Same matchup again, Zuzai and Devin. One again by Zuzai. Skipped over the top. Quick shot off the bounce by Moss. Good coverage was Enman.
It came from a great lob pass. Could have been dangerous, but it all worked out.
Montserrat had it. It's now Brosi off on the right side. When these teams did play in 2015, Westfield came away with a 9-8 win. Again, a scheduling conflict last year didn't allow the teams to play in what's been an annual game from 1997 on.
Westfield had a rained-out game this year. There's about a foot of water on the field. Good day for lacrosse today, though.
And that was a game we were originally going to see the Blue Devils against Seton Hall Prep. Long set here for Pingry as we work down to about 4.5 minutes remaining in the first. Montserrat for Moss. Behind the cage, Enman. Patient sets so far for both teams offensively.
Well, that's because we've got two really great defensive teams. They're just kind of sizing up their opponents. Both goals that were scored, tough angle, but absolute lasers. And in motion, no less. So it's going to be a lot of cutting to the net if we're going to see some scoring.
Brosi, that time, fought off by McCauley, who will make the save.
Great save by McCauley. Kept his eye on it the entire time. Positioning was perfect. Made the save.
Probilski will go from offense to defense. Will stay up on the attack. There's a save the other direction made by Frankie Dillon.
It's a tough shot to attempt from that far, giving the goaltender ample opportunity to keep an eye on it, make an easy save.
Aiden Dillon has checked in for Pingry. He'll try the quick shot. It's fought off by McCauley. Possession kept for the Big Blue.
Well, let's take a look at that last save. All about positioning right there. Kept his eye on it. Got the stick, able to shift it aside. McCauley with the save, keeping this game notched at 1.
Down to about 3 minutes remaining in the first. Alongside Colin Cosell, I'm Matt Harmon. We come to you from down the road from Westfield High School at Keller Stadium. Game 6 for Pingry, game 5 for Westfield. Curling shooting, bounce attempt by Enman, who has the lone goal for Pingry so far over the top. Good dodge, rolling and shooting to the top shelf. That one will be poked in for Pingry, who will take a 2-1 advantage. Cameron Wright off the bench to score the junior attacker.
Well, Coach Webster talked about bringing players in to give them some experience, and boy, what better experience than getting a fantastic goal there. Number 20, Cameron Wright, the junior attacker, cutting around the net, getting it right in there. His 4th goal of the season. Stellar play for Wright. Now it's a matter of winning the faceoff and keeping this momentum going.
Zuzai trying to scoop. He's quick from that faceoff X. Grab back, however, by Dombrowski.
Wow, the speed and the size difference right there.
Westfield will take a timeout. Mentioned Pingry so far this year, 3-2. They are a team that has often found themselves in the TOC, but as one of those smaller schools from the parochial side of things, often run into a bigger, more physical team. But last year they made that run all the way to the TOC finals, finally dropping that decision to Del Barton. Maybe the best year in Pingry history.
Well, they've got a coach who's been there for the entire duration of this program, all 29 years. My goodness, with a coach like that, no matter how small the program is, no matter how young or small the players may be, Mike Webster, obviously the 2006 and 2014 Coach of the Year in New Jersey. He's won 2 NCAA titles at Johns Hopkins, no stranger to success, and of course he's able to convey that with his wisdom and knowledge of the game to these young men.
See a long run in between their 06 to 2015 and 2015 in the non-public B section. Winning state championships, 29 years as the head coach.
And of course, right out of college, out of Johns Hopkins, he got this job. So I don't know how he keeps his youthful good looks there. After 29 years of coaching, coaching is stressful.
Yeah, he's still
worse for the wear.
You can tell just by talking to him, he is a guy who still loves coaching, loves being around the players, loves still teaching the game. Patrick Toohey on the flip side in his 5th year for Westfield. Heard him talking with his team before the game in the locker room. The rivalry that exists between these two schools in this game was not understated in that pregame talk.
Well, this Bristol Cup is named after Coach Tony Bristol, who coached both of these teams.
Back up and going out of the timeout. Westfield with the possession. 2 minutes remaining in the first.
He coached both of those teams for long periods of time as well. Wonder what he would have said about this rivalry that has developed in his name.
Probably wouldn't have been happy that the game, because of scheduling issues last year, wasn't played.
That's a valid point. Find a way to reschedule it, guys. What are you doing?
Warnow. Handing off to Griffin Aslanian. Sophomore who's already committed down to Georgetown. Handing off Nick Bond. Bond off the turnover. Gave it away to Weiss, and here comes Pingry in transition.
Weiss, the long stick, has been fantastic defensively today. But Pingry unable to get the transition with the passing there, and they turn it over to Westfield.
It was Cameron Wright who was in the midst of what would have been a very nice catch and finish. Good spin by Dombrowski.
Boy, Dombrowski's having one heck of a game thus far. His agility, his stick handling, his speed, absolutely tremendous.
Low shot by McLane. Will be kept on here, Nick Nolan. One of the two senior captains, Kyle Dombrowski, on his way to the University of Denver. Warnow will try a quick one. Dillon saw that. Flipped up and saved on the back boundary. A procedure call will come against Pingry, and it will be Westfield to possess. Last couple of seconds here of the first. Swung down end to end on the bounce, Dillon. McCauley will let it go past him. And after a good solid first 12 minutes, it is Pingry with a 2-1 advantage. Certainly knew it would be a good one coming in. It's lived up to the hype so far. Top 20 matchup here in the Garden State. We step out for a brief timeout. We come back for the start of the second with Westfield and Pingry separated by just one.
I can't compute why Fullerton sells more cars.
McLane working his hard.
Queen mattress set.
And Verizon FIOS One Sports is there on the side.
2-1 our score. Pingry leads Westfield right now after one. A goal for Cameron Wright. George Enman on the big blue side of things. Jake Warnow has scored for Westfield. Good defensive game between these two teams so far. You see Westfield last year 11-9. We talked about their record, maybe just a little bit misleading. They did win that second straight Union County title, had that miracle goal against Summit where their goalie scored right at the end of the game. Group 4 final. Again, the record for them, I don't think it really means a whole lot. It's where you get yourself into a position to do well in the postseason.
Well, it's indicative of the parity in this league, in this state, no less. And, of course, that miracle goal for Westfield scored by their goaltender. The Summit goaltender was out of position. Mind you, we're talking about an all-star goaltender for Summit. And it just took a fortuitous bounce for Westfield to tie it up with time running out. Went into double overtime, and they won the game. Westfield shocking Summit to take that title. But, of course, Summit getting their revenge earlier this week against Westfield by a 1-goal.
There's Zuzai with the quick win to start the second.
Well, both of these coaches have to be pretty happy with what they were preaching. As we mentioned, our keys to the game, Pingry has definitely managed the pressure pretty well of the Blue Devils, while Westfield has definitely been utilizing their physicality and their speed and toughness, especially in the hands of number 11, Kyle Dombrowski.
Move it, boys. Keep working, keep working, keep working. Go Bayhawks, 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 Bayhawks.
Seen a lot of this in the game so far, just sizing up the opponent, trying to find an opening, set a play, trying to get some picks going as well. But they're not going to be able to do it from that far outside.
Brosey will deliver it to Enman, who will set up at X. Moss. Oh, a 2-3-1 look for Pingry.
Brosey with a nice catch there to avoid the turnover.
Moss looking for a cutter in right. Possession kept Durye. And then knocked out of the sideline boundary. Possession will be given to Westfield.
Well, that turnover all came after a pass to Cameron Wright, an attempted pass to Cameron Wright, but the defense of Westfield stifled him. Now Westfield able to get the ball.
5th turnover of the day for Pingry. Cloudy, overcast skies, temperature right around 60. Almost perfect playing conditions for these players. Not too cold. What's expected to be a hot rest of the weekend and start to next week. I'm sure they'll enjoy the breeze and the lack of beating sun today. This team's anchored by strong defensive play so far through the first quarter plus. Rittendale for Bond up top. Warnow. Bond against Simon with the long pole. Good cut inside. Bond, that one hit the stick and then the crossbar before coming back down, and Dillon able to grab it.
Frankie Dillon got away with one there. My goodness. Did he make a great save? Absolutely. Did he get a little lucky bounce? Oh my goodness. It nearly went in off of his body.
Moss will get it in transition. Bond with a fantastic effort just to get it here on the doorstep. It will be Pingry who will go up 3-1.
That was sophomore Luke Ackerman. Number 16 for Pingry. Absolutely stellar play. It was a bang-bang play. Take a look at the pass behind the net, which allows number 16, Luke Ackerman. And, of course, this all comes on the heels of this beautiful save by Frankie Dillon. Lost track of it off the crossbar, nearly went in off his body, banks it off his player, number 5, Jake Simon, able to track it down, get the ball down the field, and then Ackerman with his first goal of the season, an absolute beauty from point blank. Nice little give and go. Spencer Dury with the assist. Beautiful play.
Face-off win for Westfield. Now find themselves in a 3-1 hole.
And that was Dury's 8th assist of the season. A total playmaker, 8 goals and 8 assists now for the senior.
Oslanian far side. Rittendale will drop back behind the cage for McLane. Westfield, I think, trying to figure a way to get the man who has it right now, Nick Bond, involved. 34 goals a season ago for the Princeton-bound junior. Bond with it right now.
Oh, we're watching this Pingry defense at work, and boy, are they really taking this team to task.
Weiss keeps an eye on Bond, who gets it back. Bond winding up. Goes off the far side. Another attempt here. That one fought off by Dillon. Tough attempt from Bond, who's now starting to at least get some shots on frame. Dillon up to the task. Shots pretty even. 8-7 in favor of Westfield with that last one.
A great save by Dillon, by the way, keeping an eye on the ball the whole time. Boy, his eyes have just been fantastic. He has just been able to monitor the ball from every angle and from every distance, it seems.
Dillon will help clear out of the cage here. Weiss splits through Westfield.
Dillon with 3 saves on the day. To Jack McCauley's 2. No fault of McCauley's after all. It's some two point blank, absolutely gorgeous goals for Pingry, who send Cameron Wright back out on the field. Number 20, the junior attacker.
Pingry, one of those teams that will split time in the goal. We do expect to see David Metzger, a senior, in the second half.
Metzger's parents are in attendance today, telling me that he's got a twin who's a tennis star for Pingry. They came off a 4-1 win earlier this week, as a matter of fact.
5:20 remaining. Moss way off target with that one, with Probilski right in his back pocket. Enman has been the guy behind the cage to set most of the offense up today for Pingry.
Saw that against Immaculata as well. Nice save there for Jack McCauley. Might have gotten a little bit of help from the post, but it went off of his body first. Keeping it at a 3-1 lead for Pingry.
Less than 5 to go. McElroy, Dombrowski.
Boy, Dombrowski loves that spinorama, doesn't he?
Here's Bond. And a crisp, clean game so far, but that will change perhaps with this turnover.
Westfield able to get it, and that all comes off of a save, not necessarily by the goaltender, but by an extension of his equipment. Dillon getting a little help from the goalpost. So we take another look at it right here. See number 9, Devin McLane, setting up the play. And then the fifth piece of equipment for the goalie, the post. Well,
referees are having a quick discussion right now. I think that last whistle, we're about to give it to Pingry. It might be overturned.
Well, the ref is explaining it to Westfield coach Tui right now. Looks a little unhappy.
Unhappy perhaps, but it does look like it'll be Westfield possession.
So I can't imagine why he would be unhappy, but regardless, 4:15 remaining in the half. Westfield will recommence their offense.
Just one goal so far for the Blue Devils.
Well, Pingry's been minimizing their turnovers, but accentuating their defense. Absolutely stifling. Pingry's just not been able to get any quality shots on goal. And when they do, Dillon's been able to make some fantastic saves. It's a frustrating first half for Westfield so far.
Wind-up shot from Warnow. Off frame. He does have the game's only goal for the Blue Devils.
And that came at 5:54 the first. They have not scored a goal in 14 minutes. It seemed like an eternity on the field, especially with this defensive Pingry. Just sticking to him like glue.
Nolan. In the slot that time was McLane. May have bypassed a good look. Less than 3 to go now in the first half. Pingry 3, Westfield 1. The Blue Devils of Westfield in the home whites, white helmets in the blue shorts. Pingry in the dark blue uniforms today. McLane looking up top. Bond gets around a double. That will hit Jake Simon, the defender, before it can make its way through to Dillon. In transition, Pingry trying to build here on a 2-goal advantage. And I think wisely might try and wind this first half down.
I was seeing a lot of perimeter shots from both teams. Pingry attempting to get their 10th shot on goal, but it goes wide, so they remain at 9. But still holding on to that 3-1 lead. Sorry, that was their 10th shot on goal.
I think we'll have a timeout coming here for Westfield and Mike Webster, the head coach. Minute 49 remaining in the second. I think if you're up 2 right now for Pingry, not that you try and stall and run the rest of the first half out, but you certainly want to make sure that you get that good look that you want, not give Westfield a chance to tally one more here before the end of the first half.
Well, now it's just going to be a matter of patience and accentuating the fundamentals of the game. Maintaining possession, clean, crisp passes, making sure they catch every single one, 0 turnovers, and just maintain that possession right out this first half. They can take that 3-1 lead or maybe even a 4-1 lead to the locker room. Pingry's going to be feeling really, really good about themselves entering the second half, especially against such a tough team as Westfield.
To see what they've done the last couple of years, they are no slouch when it comes to high school lacrosse. Such a good build-up from 2013 with a 2-13 mark, 14 wins, 17-17. We mentioned them being in the TOC final last year. They play in the Skyland Conference in the Raritan Division. Always good lacrosse when you look at the teams that they play. Their wins so far this year: Hillsborough, Immaculata, and Somerville.
Well, you take a look at how the teams have just developed over the years. Coach Webster obviously getting the players that he wants and needed, and building, going from the semifinal to the final. Now, maybe, just maybe this year, they'll be able to seal the deal. That remains to be seen. Get that final.
Nice crowd on hand today, watching Pingry and Westfield. You mentioned the Big Blue, a goalie platoon system. Metzger will see time in the second half, but Dillon has been the story so far today in the first.
Well, he's just had fantastic vision. He's been able to watch the ball, with the exception of the near miss where it went off his stick and then the crossbar nearly bounced in, but he was able to track it down once again. And I mean, just look at that outside perimeter shot. That's because they're not able to get inside. Frankie Dillon, 3 saves, only 1 goal allowed today, and that was from point blank. And my goodness, was it a gorgeous goal in transition by Westfield's number 43, Jake Warnow. Since then, it's just been all Pingry defense. Nothing has really transpired inside the 8-meter.
See how deliberate Pingry is here off that timeout. Now winding down towards about 90 seconds remaining in the first half. Moss will flip it up top.
If they can't get anything going up top, they can always go behind number 23, George Enman. He's absolutely lethal back there and has the ability to cut to the net. Very, very deceiving player. An excellent goal scorer in his own right. There he is.
Working down towards about a minute remaining.
But again, someone of the size and strength of Kyle Dombrowski, it's a tough matchup for Enman, who's our FIOS star of the game against Immaculata.
Hayden Dillon just looking to clear some space out. Keep possession on Colin Freer.
Nice first name.
And then losing it in transition. That time it was Dombrowski again. And off to the races, Westfield, who will use a timeout with 18 seconds remaining. Almost thought they had an opportunity in transition that time to keep moving forward. And you've got Dombrowski, you've got Prabilski back there. Nothing is going to come easy against Westfield.
Well, Dombrowski versus Enman, absolutely no match there. As number 33 comes away with the ball, that's Jake Engelke. Coach Toohey talking to his team. Now, why would they stop in transition? Probably to A, set up a play, B, get his players calmed down, and C, try to get that goal in to stop the momentum and maybe change things in their direction going to the second half.
He's a Westfield alum. He played in this game. Again, listening to him talk to his team before the game, he referenced being part of this Bristol Bowl and being part of this rivalry going back to when he was a player, 2014 Group 4 Coach of the Year. He's been with the program for the better part of a decade, 5 as an assistant, 5 as a head coach. I always like to hear those stories of student athletes who leave and then work their way back as a coach, now mentor. You can see the pride that he has in this program. He's trying to push Westfield to the next level.
He's seemingly a Blue Devil for life. I doubt he's going to go the way of Tony Bristol and end up coaching for Pingry anytime soon, especially since Webster will probably be there, I'd say, by the year 2050. Webster's just going to still be coaching there. And two, he's already got a very successful program going, but he's got a really, really bright future as a head coach. Let's see whatever he imparted to his players, if it actually comes to fruition on the field.
18 seconds remaining. Clock now up and going. Warnow will be the player who will start it. Rittendale for Bond. Down to 5. Westfield looking for something at goal. Bond was about to wind up. Fantastic way to finish for Pingry. We talked so much about the Westfield defense. Well, Pingry on display that time, not even allowing a shot at goal in the last 18 seconds.
Absolutely stifling. Whatever play they tried to set up, Pingry was ready for it. They tried to spread them out, unable to do so. Pingry maintains their 3-1 lead.
We will take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll have stats, highlights, start of the third. After one half of play, Pingry 3, Westfield 1. We return with more on Verizon FIOS 1 Sports.
Cleaning the tub is a back-breaking chore, and you can scrub your tile, but it always needs more. There has to be an easier way. From the makers of the best-selling Hurricane Spin Mop comes the all-new Hurricane Spin Scrubber. The new cordless and rechargeable power scrub brush that cleans faster and easier. Even these dirty old tiles are no match for Spin Scrubber, blasting right through the grime, sparkly and clean every time. It makes quick work of calcium, soap, and hard water stains, clear and clean in seconds. The secret is the rotating brush spinning at 300 RPM. The incredible torque can bust through any caked-on crud with ease. So forget harsh chemicals. Now restore the shine and luster to any surface in a flash. Get your Hurricane Spin Scrubber today for just $39.99. Plus get your shipping absolutely free. And you'll never need batteries because it comes with the latest rechargeable technology. Plus, we'll even guarantee it for a full 10 years or your money back. Forget bending and straining to clean the tub because you'll get this extension pole free. Now you can easily reach down into the tub to power away stains or into the shower to clean moldy grout and tiles. Even clean those areas you couldn't normally reach. And we're not done yet. You'll also get this free soft flex cone brush that fits perfectly into corners. There's no easier way to get faucets sparkling clean. Also use it to blast away the burnt mess on cooktops. Even get into tiny crevices on the fridge door. Or best of all, those hard to reach shower door rails. Plus, there's more. We'll include this extra large flat brush free. Use it around the rusty sink drain or to bust through dirt on the shower floor. And there's no better way to power through the oven door grime, so it wipes off in no time. All 3 brushes easily fit in this handy storage bag. Yours free, but hold everything. Call right now and you can get a second set. Just pay separate fee. Plus get your shipping absolutely free. Order now.
Call 1-800-830-6945 to get your Hurricane Spin Scrubber. Call now or go to spinscrubber.com. So call 1-800-830-6945. Call or visit spinscrubber.com now.
One half down, one half to go. Start of the third here in Westfield, New Jersey. Pingry on the road, leading the Blue Devils by a score of 3-1. Matt Harmon, Colin Cosell, the rest of our crew here at Verizon FIOS 1 Sports. Hope you're enjoying this one. Good top 20 matchup in the state of New Jersey. Defensive-minded game, Colin, what we've seen so far.
Well, what we've seen is Pingry's defense, but also their offense. 23 there. George Enman with the first goal of the game, an absolute beauty. Westfield came back to tie it up with an absolutely stellar goal by Jake Warnow. Pingry would then take the lead. Number 20, Cameron Wright, with an excellent goal to round out the first quarter, and then the only goal of the second quarter to give Pingry the 3-1 lead. A bang-bang play. The pass from Spencer Dury to number 16, Luke Ackerman.
We see the stats so far fairly even. The nice thing has been this has been a very clean game. No penalties called, no extra man opportunities or power plays. 12-10 the advantage for Westfield in shots. The face-offs have been square, 3 per side. Zuzai on one side, Devin on the other. Be interesting to see with these two coaches what adjustments they make. And does anybody try and speed this game up maybe a little bit?
Well, you got to think Webster's going to try to get his team to tighten up a little bit. Turnovers still plaguing the team, but it has not been such a detriment to the team. Obviously, still maintaining that 3-1 lead. I think what they're going to try to do is keep that defense exactly where it is. Keep Westfield on the perimeter, getting no inside shots. And for Westfield, it's going to be a matter of going back to their fundamentals. As we said in the beginning of the game, keeping their physicality, their speed in that physicality, and of course winning that turnover battle. Pingry's been turning it over And Pingry has actually managed Westfield's pressure very well, and their defense has been absolutely stellar, hence the 3-1 lead.
3-1 the advantage right now for the Big Blue. We are set and ready for action. There is David Metzger, who we thought we would see, and we will here to start the third. He is a senior on his way to Vassar.
He's going to Vassar because he wants to be like us. He wants to go into television, film, and editing. Fantastic program there. He might be on one of our FIOS trucks soon. You never know.
Zuzai with the win to start things off for Pingry.
That's a big face-off win for Pingry. Westfield probably wanted to get some early momentum going.
That's a jump shot attempt by Moss. Going low was McCauley to make the save.
That's a great save also off the brilliant defense of number 11, Kyle Dombrowski.
We will get our first flag of the day. McElroy had curled out. It will be on McCauley, who set a pick behind the net, but in doing that, not sure if his elbow went up or just the referees thinking unnecessary.
Well, that's a tough call. It kind of looked like he ran right into him. That was the immovable object, though. He barely flinched.
Theo Dardia, the backup keeper, will step in, just a sophomore. McCauley having to sit here. This could be a major turning point in this game.
Well, McCauley has made some fantastic saves. This is going to be a 1-minute man advantage for Pingry. If they can capitalize, that would be absolutely huge and just a big detriment to Westfield.
See how deliberate Pingry is right now. Montserrat, Enman.
And you notice on the man advantage, they've got Enman at the top now.
Moss behind the goal is being denied any possession by Westfield. And there's the goal. The change in keeper comes back to haunt Enman with his second of the day.
Man, oh man, does Enman have a shot. I mean, I've seen him shoot really, really gorgeous goals from up close within the 8-meter mark. But this is just a laser. A brilliant play. Splits the defenseman, cradles, shoots, fires. And just like that, Pingry is up 4-1 on Westfield.
McCauley able to re-enter. Good look from behind. Jamie Zuzai, number 2 in blue for Pingry, the face-off specialist.
And that assist, brilliant pass from number 13. That was Brett Zanelli, the senior for Pingry. Brilliant play.
Still an open possession. Flipped in the air. Finally pulled off the turf. A face-off win for Pingry. Ollie Martin was spinning with nowhere to go, and a timeout will come for the Big Blue.
Smart timeout from a smart coach. Mike Webster getting his team regrouped after a very gritty and tenacious face-off win by Ollie Martin, the man of steel, so to speak. And then Westfield now gets an opportunity to fine-tune themselves against this Pingry team. Got to minimize their mistakes.
The records last year for Westfield, always a team that makes a deep run. 3 of the last 4, they've been in the North 4 final. Made the TOC last time in 2014. Right now at 2-2 with the schedule they play, I think, and what we've seen so far, a good defensive side. Maybe struggling a little bit offensively today, working against this Pingry back 3 and their goalie. You can see last year only about 8.5 goals per game. They're right in line with that so far this year. At some point, maybe you got to get that offense just in gear a little bit more.
Well, I think for a team with a defense like this, their transition game will be the key to that, because that's the way you catch another team's defense off guard. Now, we're also talking about a Wakefield team that hasn't scored a goal in 19 minutes and 34 seconds. That is a long stretch without a goal for a team that's got such a strong defense. They could probably use a little bit of Kyle Dombrowski, the senior defenseman, get him a little more involved on offense as well, utilizing his speed. They are such a fast team. If they could just get their transition game going and minimize turnovers, they might be able to get something going here.
Back up and going off the timeout. Pingry with Moss trying to weave through everyone. Possession will be given back to Pingry. Dombrowski was close to getting it for Westfield. A couple of minutes into our third. There's one from the top shelf. It's Edmond again who's got the hat trick.
Oh, my goodness. You want to talk about a highlight reel for George Edmond? This one's got to be close to the top of the list, if not the top of the list, with absolutely zero room to shoot at. My goodness, tough angle. Goalie is well positioned. Top shelf, there was just about a maybe not even 6 square inch area to shoot at. In the run towards the goal, George Edmond, 11th goal this season. As you mentioned, the hat trick on the day. What a powerhouse player he has been, especially in the past week. He's just had a stellar week for Pingry.
Just a junior, part of a front line that includes Graves and Duryea, the 2 seniors, but it's been Edmond who's been the guy today.
Westfield with a huge possession here. They desperately need to capitalize, otherwise this game is going to get away from them.
Shirk will be joined by Warnow and Bond in the midfield. Not sure the Westfield game plan will change here. There's still a mountain of time in this game.
Well, one game plan they've got to minimizing turnovers, as I mentioned, as they turn it over right there. They've had 0 shots this quarter. That's one thing they desperately need to change.
Weiss in trouble. Through the middle of the field. Will help on the clear with Ackerman.
It was a beautiful clear by Pingry there.
Three of the 5 goals today for Pingry coming for George Edmond.
I notice he's being covered now by none other than Kyle Dombrowski.
Got one wound up and will ding off the post. Possession kept for the Big Blue.
Rossi with a great shot there, great opportunity. Just couldn't get it past that post.
Cutters coming through. Brosey again with the attempt. Race over to the sideline. They're going to give it to Prabilski. Good hustle to get there and get possession back for Westfield.
I think Brosey just took one extra step. He hesitated a little bit with the ball and wasn't able to get a good shot off on the beautiful pass from Edmond. And as aforementioned, Westfield still with 0 shots this quarter. Pingry with 5. 2 of them finding the back of the net, both of which coming from number 23, George Edmond.
Good cut coming through for Bond. Couldn't hang on to it, and it will be Charles Baldwin to keep possession for Westfield. 7.5 minutes remain in the third. That one lost in the crease, grabbed by Metzger.
That, in essence, a turnover, if you will, for Westfield. A bad one at that. 5 turnovers on the day for Westfield. Kind of an unforced error, if you will.
It's Jake Simon working it upfield. Duryea lost it, and it's grabbed by Dombrowski. Off to the races is Shirk. Pingry with numbers to slow the attack.
Well, that was the high-speed offensive transition I was talking about, but Pingry is just able to adapt and evolve with the play.
That one dropped in. It will be Devin McLane, the sophomore who we talked about in the open.
Devin McLane finding the back of the net for the 9th time this season on top of his 12 assists, and he stops the Pingry onslaught. Cuts it to a 3-goal deficit. Another look at that play. Absolutely beautiful cut. Gets around the net with a slide coming on from Pingry. Able to evade the defense and find the back of the net. Beautiful goal by the sophomore sensation.
It was Simon who was defending behind the net. I thought looked like he was expecting help curling back around that came late. McLane makes Pingry pay to pull it to 5-2.
Well, Westfield had that deficit and had not scored a goal in well over 20 minutes.
Good check by Probilski. Turnover coming. Now Westfield starting to get something going a little bit.
After stopping that 23-minute deficit of scoring, maybe the momentum is going in their favor. Wow, the athleticism there falling down. Devin McLane.
McLane lost it. Zuzai on. Here comes a flag finally thrown. Contact coming back and forth. This will be a penalty on Westfield.
Things are getting a little scrappy out there. Talk about a rivalry.
These two teams started playing the Bristol Bowl back in 1997. Pingry won that game 9-7, followed it up with overtime wins in 98 and 99.
Well, it looks like they're checking the stick here on the Pingry side. We've not signaled what the foul is against Westfield.
I think Zuzai, when he went off, may have changed sticks, and I'm not sure the referees, if Westfield is looking for something about an illegal stick use, which one to actually look at.
Kind of a funny moment there. Probilski walked over, was almost in the Pingry huddle for a second. The ref said, you've got to move along, son. It's a very interesting moment of the game.
They've just dropped one stick and picked up another.
Now, keeping in mind that once you lace up your stick with the wear and tear of a game, that may deepen the pocket a little bit. Not exactly sure what's transpiring on the field. So
they're going to check, I believe, the original stick that Zuzai was using before he maybe went over to the sideline and grabbed an alternate or backup stick. Measure size, pocket, and then, as you said, how deep that pocket is.
This is a first for me. I don't know about you, Matt. I don't think I've ever seen a measuring tape.
Well, that indication from one of our referees who's walking over would tell you that there's nothing illegal about it. He's talking to the Westfield coaches on the way back to the sideline.
Measuring tape's one of those tools around the house that you're always wondering, where's measuring tape? Well, if I need one, I'm going to turn to that referee.
Let's also remember it looked like a flag had come out against Westfield. Don't see anybody in the sideline yet. Nick Nolan, a guy who's coming off right now.
For a game that was otherwise really fast-paced, I mean, that first half was just lightning fast, Matt. I'm curious to see what this kind of prolonged stoppage of play is going to do, especially with Westfield was starting to get something going there.
Nolan will be the guy who will sit. Second penalty of the day against Westfield. First resulted in a change in goal, and Pingry was able to cash in on that. Man-up situation for the second time today. 1-for-1 is Pingry. We are past the midpoint of this third quarter.
Once again, with that man up, you see Edmond at the top.
Good movement with possession by Pingry. Moss looking for Edmond. Unforced error and a turnover will give it back to Westfield.
Unforced error by number 27, Lucas Montserrat.
Less than 10 seconds on the penalty.
The man up is now over for Pingry, unable to capitalize for the first time today. 1 for 2.
Back to even with Nolan coming back on.
And 0 shots on goal in that man up as well. So that gave Pingry an opportunity to get some momentum back, but with the kill, now Westfield with a great opportunity.
Running into traffic was McLane. Nolan there to scoop it up. Bond. That one fought off by Metzger.
I'll tell you what, McLane is only a sophomore. As he grows into his body by his senior year, he'll be taller, stronger. He's going to be a real powerhouse.
Warnow with the catch. Then got drilled by Ackerman. The overall intensity of this game has been ratcheted up. Much more physical play from both teams. Westfield's starting to realize, partner, that they've got to be a little bit more deliberate offensively, still down by 3.
Well, they've got to get that Pingry defense moving and try to find an opening. Get some picks, set up some plays.
Rittendale on the spin. Stick check by Simon. Possession here will be kept for Westfield.
Interesting turn of events. Oh, flag on the play.
That one up over the top. McLane, top shelf. He has a pair.
Our star player to keep an eye on has been a joy to watch so far. 10th goal on the season for McLane. An absolute beauty. Maintains possession, uses Simon, gets around the long stick, and then just zings one. Top corner, past Metzger.
And on the delayed penalty call, Simon will come off, I think, for a slash.
There's a slash on number 5.
So now the setup for Westfield, if they can win this faceoff, they can get right into a man-up situation for the first time today.
And that's the first time they've had back-to-back goals today, cutting the deficit down to 2 with 3:23 remaining here in the third quarter. This is all coming off of that man-up opportunity for Pingry that they were unable to capitalize on.
Probilski is the one who can come in unimpeded for Westfield to try and help win the face-off that Zuzai will grab for Pingry.
An absolute face-off specialist.
Moss lost it through a double. McElroy comes away with it, flips it up over midfield. Given back to Weiss. Down to 3 minutes in the third.
That's a brutal turnover for Westfield right there.
Ackerman will come on as another offensive player. Westfield trying to get possession back here. They are man up.
Got 5 seconds remaining in the man up for Westfield. Absolutely brilliant kill by Pingry, maintaining possession.
Back to even strength. Rossi will come on. Down under 2 remaining in the third.
Brilliant play by Pingry to slow it down, keep it outside, size up the opponent, but above all else, stop the Westfield momentum.
Enman, he's been the guy today for Pingry.
It's a tough matchup against Dombrowski, though. You saw the size difference. 2 highly skilled players. Oh, and Enman is coming off the field. He's skipping a little bit, looking like he might have injured his right foot. That could be a huge loss for Pingry.
Here comes pressure from Westfield. Graves replacing Enman. Coming back on. We're down to a minute in the third. Big hit delivered on the shot from Graves. Westfield possession.
Wow. So many things just went in Westfield's direction right there. The momentum could very well swing in their direction as Enman comes off the field. The turnover forced by the defense of Westfield. As you see Enman being checked out by the trainer. It was that right foot, I believe, maybe tweaked the ankle. Regardless, Westfield with a huge opportunity here.
That defense again anchoring things for Westfield. You've got McElroy, a junior, the 2 senior captains in Probilski and Dombrowski. There's Bond, the catch, shoot and finish.
Absolutely brilliant goal, but my goodness, an absolutely brilliant assist. That was Bond, Nick Bond, number 20. From number 10, McElroy. Look at this setup. Absolutely brilliant setup. My correction, that was Devin McLane, our star player.
You can see McLane
13th assist on the season.
Setting it up, spinning away from trouble, and Bond gets involved in the act. All of a sudden, what was a 5-1 advantage has become 5-4. Westfield just chipping away, relying on that defense to keep him in the game.
Well, the 3-1 deficit at halftime, I bet they would not have guessed, especially the 5-1 deficit.
Westfield that time tried to throw Probilski at the face-off X with the long pole against Zuzai. Time winding down in the third. Westfield trying to get a shot off and just skipping into McCauley, who will make the save. Westfield has fought themselves back in what should be a very exciting fourth quarter. Pingry and Westfield playing for the Bristol Bowl. We've got a game here. Fourth quarter coming up on Verizon, FIOS 1 Sports.
Hi, I'm Paul from Circle Auto. Here at Circle, it's all about the C, our competitive pricing. We understand that people have options when purchasing a new vehicle, and we know the process can be frustrating. We work very hard to look at the marketplace and make sure our pricing is competitive. We're leasing a new 2017 Hyundai Sonata SE for as low as $139 per month with 0 down. Lease a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport for as low as $183 per month with 0 down. So come in and see for yourself what the C is all about. Circle Auto, making our mark one customer, one family at a time.
I'm not loving it.
Well, it's in our budget.
There's no selection here. We can't even find somebody to help us. Can we please just go to Wayne Tile? This is exactly what I was looking for.
And it's in our budget! Yeah! Yeah! Yes! Yes!
Wayne Tile. Stop by and get inspired.
And we could deliver it this week.
Yes! Yes!
Tired of food sticking to the pan? You try to scrape it, and then you scratch it. You may as well trash it. Not anymore. Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with Gotham Steel, the newest technology in non-stick cookware made with ceramic and super strong titanium. Stronger than ever before. It's like cooking on air. Everything slides right off, and it's dishwasher safe. Watch. You'd never whisk eggs in a non-stick pan, right? Well, you can with my pan. Use metal and never make a scratch ever. No sticking and no scratches. It's amazing. Look, burnt cheese is a frying pan disaster. Not with my pan. Shredded Parmesan, right on the heat. Plus, use Gotham Steel in the oven to up to 500 degrees. Even fire won't damage Gotham Steel.
Call now to get your Gotham Steel pan with titanium and ceramic for $19.99. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-679-8757. That's 1-800-679-8757. Or order online at gothamsteel.com.
5-4 Pingry the advantage. Start of the fourth quarter. Colin Cosell, Matt Harmon here for Verizon FIOS 1 Sports. That's been the guy for Pingry, number 23, George Enman. Came off with an apparent injury, trying to get himself back in, and boy, would Pingry need him right now.
By no small coincidence, since he's gone off the field, Westfield has gone off on Pingry. You take a look at a player that is an absolute total package, scoring 3 goals on the day. He's got assists. He's just got an absolute rocket. His wheelhouse is the back of the net, but we've seen him do it out in front as well. And it's looking like he's getting back out on the field. The trainer did a great job. That is a tough junior right there, number 23, George Enman. And as I mentioned before, he was our star player in the game against Immaculata. His office behind the net. He is absolutely lethal within the 8 meters. But we've seen him score perimeter goals as well. I mean, absolutely stellar play.
Last time Pingry won this Bristol Bowl competition, 2012. What was a 9-4 win for the Big Blue. It's been 3 straight for Westfield.
That's the 9th face-off won by Pingry out of a possible 13. That means Westfield's had 4. In a game of possession, that's a huge statistic.
There's a turnover again, that Westfield defense. Aslanian over midfield.
Their pole clearing and transition is absolutely stellar. Some of the best I've ever seen. Quite possibly the best in the state. But if they can translate that to goals, this is going to be a tie ball game.
Perbilski will come back on. Luke Hunsaker, the junior, another member of that defensive unit for Westfield. Just helps set the offense up, and I think there's a calming feeling really on the clear, which is such a nervous moment for so many teams.
Well, they have absolutely perfected it.
Now Aslanian on the bounce, skipping all the way through, trying to come near side was McLane. 3 times in this overall series has this game gone to overtime, and we are tied right now at 5. Warnow with his second today.
Once again, like the first goal for Westfield, that was number 43, Jake Warnow from number 9, Devin McLane. Beats him off stick side. My gosh, absolutely stellar play. It was a laser, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a bit of a screen in front of the goaltender as well. Metzger. It might have been Jason Weiss. Regardless, who would have thought when it was 5-1 that would be the turning point? And Westfield would score 4 unanswered goals.
Another face-off win for Zuzai, who will hop off, and it will be Brosi who will come on. Dylan hopping on. McElroy with the chance to get possession back, unable to scoop it before it goes off the back boundary, and it will be Pingry with possession. And a very important possession here, Colin, for the Big Blue. 2 minutes in to the fourth, letting a 4-goal advantage slip away.
Well, it seems like yesterday that Westfield hadn't scored a goal in 23 minutes. Now they've scored 4 in the last 8 minutes. That is absolutely staggering. It's got to be driving Pingry coach Webster nuts. And you watch this team evolve. Sorry, Matt, as the game has gone on, this defense has evolved. They've gotten so much better, and then that transition game has been leading to goals. They're putting it all together here in the fourth quarter. It's fun to watch.
Up top for Moss. They force him right. That's Enman, who seems to be okay from what was a right leg injury. Dylan, good slip through a double. Takes a shot. Here comes a flag. That one down low. McCauley fights it off. Man up coming for Pingry.
Aiden Dillon with some great athleticism there to maintain possession, but the flag was thrown. We'll take a look at the penalty and the athleticism. Westfield actually got lucky. Seemed like number 22, Charles Baldwin, kind of fell out of the play for a second, but unable to connect the back of the net. It's Aiden Dillon.
Baldwin, the player who is sent off, 32nd man up for Pingry. Good look in the slot, and then coming over at the last second was Dombrowski.
I bet that's one that number 13, Brett Zanelli, would want back.
Penalty winding down with less than 5.
And the man up is over for Pingry. 1 shot on goal during the man up. We have a change there. Zanelli was taken out for Cameron Wright, number 20. Now maintaining possession for Pingry.
Wright, who does have a goal today for Pingry. Patience being shown by the Big Blue.
It's really interesting. This defense.
Moss off the bounce will wind one up. Possession will stay with Pingry.
It's an ill-advised shot, I'd say, for Moss, especially from that distance. Tried to bounce one in. That was Pingry's 20th shot of the day to Westfield's 19.
Contact down inside. Pingry has a player that is down. It's Cameron Wright. who is shaken up.
We had some serious contact there. Cameron Wright, who just came back into the game. We had the pass from Spencer Dury. Oh, it was in the back of the head inadvertently from number 44, Griffin Aslanian. Might have clipped him under the helmet in the back of the head. It's looking like it from how he's holding himself. And with protocol, they got to take him off the field, especially with head injuries. Hope to see him back on the field. Might just be a stinger. Hoping so for the young man.
As we sit right now, 7:17 remaining in the fourth. Pingry 5, Westfield 5.
Well, you got to think Westfield's really kind of taken this game over. Last Pingry goal was 10 minutes at the third quarter. It's been 15 minutes since Pingry has scored. And then you can see it, another great play. Transition play for Westfield. A smart timeout as well.
McElroy brought it upfield, then ran out of space. And rather than risk the possession, Westfield will use a timeout. Devin McLane, who has been an offensive star yet again here today for Westfield, who's looking for win number 3 of the year. We started the day talking about him, and he's lived up to the hype.
Well, I mean, just an absolute powerhouse. And keeping in mind, he's only a sophomore. He's going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. He's going to make more savvy plays. But with that kind of skill set, at his size, at his age, absolutely stellar to watch. A great playmaker, great passes. He's had 2 goals and 2 assists on the day.
All coming in this second half, as Westfield able to battle back from what was a 5-1 deficit. Defense doing enough just to hold them in line. The offense has started to come alive a little bit, and it's been tough sledding for Pingry. McLane, a guy who's committed to Brown as a sophomore. Look at some of the schools that some of the players from Westfield. We've got Brown, Yale, Georgetown, Villanova, Denver, Princeton. A lot of collective talent on this Blue Devil team.
That would be Nick Bond, number 20, the junior. Only junior, but he has committed to Princeton. 34 goals in 2016. You're going to get a very talented young man.
Off the timeout, Westfield possession.
Wow, that was off of a timeout. What it just terrible timing for a Westfield turnover. Not exactly sure, just a momentary lapse in concentration there. Whatever the case may be, Pingry's got a huge possession right now.
Something that will drive coaches crazy without question. Off a timeout. Good catch up high by Simon, now over midfield. And into the offense for Pingry. 5-5 our score as we hit the midpoint of this fourth quarter. Possession for Pingry in the all-blue uniforms. Aiden Dillon with it. Enman, check by Dombrowski. Moss. 1v1 against Prabilski. Another minute ticking off the clock with now 5 to go.
This Westfield defense has absolutely stifled Pingry. Zero openings. They're trying to find that one opening and they can't find it. It's a testament to Westfield's fantastic D.
Moss, that one off the midsection of McCauley.
Huge save for McCauley. 7th on the day. And that was all positioning right there. Almost nothing for number 25, Jake Moss, to shoot at. With that, Westfield gets possession off of McCauley's 7th save. An important possession for Westfield. Got to slow it down a little bit, give their defense a rest, much needed and well-deserved rest. They have been put to task, but they've been up to it.
Aslanian working behind the cage, less than 3.5 now to go. Catch in traffic. Penalty coming and a goal. Warnow from the top, his 3rd. Westfield, for the first time today, has taken a lead.
What an absolutely stellar play. The hat trick for Warnow. The entire defense collapses on number 8, Matthew Rittendale, but he managed to shovel it off to the man who has been the offensive backbone today for this Blue Devil team. Jake Warnow, the junior midi, giving the Blue Devils their first lead of the game. His 9th goal of the season. But that can all be attributed to the tenacious play of number 8, Rittendale. That also wipes out the flag on the play. Huge face-off here. I keep using that word, but it's true. At this stage of the game, every play is huge. Every single possession, turnover, and the like, it all counts.
Scooped out by Zuzai, handled by Moss. Grabbed by Freer in transition.
What a brilliant play there. That was absolutely heads up to make sure that he got it to Rittendale. Westfield's really taken hold of this game. And as we saw last week against Immaculata, Pingry's turnovers last week, they're able to get away with it because of their stifling defense. Right now they're looking at a 1-goal deficit. 12 turnovers on the day.
At some point, they might have to have Metzger leave the cage and try and double someone. Working down towards 2:15 remaining in the 4th. Pingry with a huge advantage in this game. At one point was up 5-1. It has been 5 straight for Westfield.
Well, that was 5-1 not too long ago.
Stall warning is out of the box. It will be possession back to Pingry.
Wow. That is a huge turn of events for Pingry. It was 5-1 with 6:30 left in the 3rd. Not too long ago, and Westfield just clicked. Nice to see number 20, Cameron Wright, back on the field.
Down now to 1.5 minutes. Enman swapping spots in the back. That's Bond with the good defensive work.
Nick Bond has had a great game today. Both sides of the field, both faces of the game.
65 seconds now remaining. Moss starting, curling through. Off the bounce, it'll be handled by Dombrowski. Skipped all the way across Hunsaker.
It was a great play by Westfield and the 13th turnover by Pingry.
40 seconds now remaining, and a timeout will be taken by Westfield.
Well, I keep talking about that Westfield defense. Look at it at work. Trying to get that shot off was number 25, Jake Moss. Unable to do so, coughs up the ball.
Westfield, if they can hold on today, would go to 3-2 on the season. Doesn't get easier for them with 3 of their next 4 on the road, at Chatham, at Ridgewood, home for Scotch Plains Fanwood, and then at Sparta, playing in the Fitch Pitt division. They're a Group 4 school, Westfield. Always perennial contenders, as is Pingry, who, if the scoreline holds today, would go to 3-3. Hopewell Valley, Rutgers Prep, Hunterdon Central, and North Hunterdon, also 3 of the next 4 on the road for Pingry. If you're a team like Westfield, you will be in a lot of low-scoring games just by the nature of, I think, the style of play and the defense, certainly, that the Blue Devils will throw. So much determination to get back into this game. I mean, listen, at 5-1, you have to think that maybe it's just Pingry's day, but Westfield scratching, clawing, defending, and then finally gets the offense to start to click.
Well, they went back to fundamentals, and they went back to accentuating their strengths, which is obviously that transition game, their defense, their speed, and their toughness. And it all just came together perfectly for them. I don't think Pingry was ready for it. And it doesn't hurt that number 43, Jake Warnow, not only had the tying goal, but the goal that gave them the 1-goal lead right now.
It's McLane weaving through traffic. Skipped by Warnow. Procedure penalty will give it back to Pingry. Last chance here for the Big Blue. Good long clear ahead.
Oh, wow.
Diving play by Warnow to cause some havoc. We'll have a push, and it will be Pingry who will keep it.
What a defensive play by Warnow. What a game he has had. My goodness. But he might have hurt himself in the process.
Warnow shaken up. You'll see right here. That's a guy who wants it.
What a brilliant play to interrupt number 9, Ollie Martin. Looked like Superman out there.
It's been Warnow who has been the difference in this second half. McLane has come alive. Warnow, the junior, with the hat trick today.
And as I mentioned, the game tying and possibly game-winning goal. We'll find out with 18 seconds left. Pingry's going to get the ball back. They use their final timeout of the day. And we're going to take a look at those very goals. Down 5-4, not for long. Warnow finds the back of the net. Absolutely beautiful goal, assisted by Devin McLane, number 9. And the game took a turn. The go-ahead goal. Game took a turn thanks to the tenacious play of Matthew Rittendale, the wherewithal to find Jake Warnow, and Warnow's talent to find the back of the net. Westfield's up 6-5.
18 seconds remaining off the stoppage in play. Pingry will have it. Far part of your screen. It will be Enman who has a hat trick also. Nobody's got any timeouts left. Enman scoops. Down to 12. Make it 8. Moss curling around, bouncing high up over the top. Possession will be kept with just 4 seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1. That one in, but did it count? It will.
They counted it. What an absolutely incredible play. Oh, my goodness. As time was expiring, Pingry ties this up, and isn't that fitting? What a brilliant play. I can't believe it. But then again, yes, I can. In this game, anything can happen, and we've seen it on this very network. We're seeing it right now. I was going to ask you before, are you ready for overtime? I figured that was a bit presumptuous, but now I'll ask you, ready for overtime?
We are ready for overtime.
Look at this goal. Time is expiring.
Moss with the catch and the finish just as time expired.
And Spencer Dury with the assist. Absolutely brilliant play. Wow. And an absolutely dejected look on Jack McCauley's face, the junior.
A good last look at it. Our time was what you would be looking at on the scoreboard. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back for the start of overtime. 6-6, Pingry and Westfield. Back with more on Verizon FIOS 1 Sports.
Hey, New Jersey, have I got great news for you. We now have 3 great locations and 1 low price. Route 46 Nissan in Totowa, Edison Nissan in Edison, and Route 33 Nissan in Hamilton now gives you the power of 3. You can now save up to $7,500 on vehicles like the Altima, Rogue, Pathfinder, Maxima, and Sentra. So what does the power of 3 Nissan dealerships mean for you? Great selection, great service, great savings. Route 33 Nissan, Edison Nissan, Route 46 Nissan, where we always make buying fun and easy.
Hi, I'm Connie Pizarro from Oasis Senior Advisors. When faced with finding an assisted living community for a loved one, it can be a stressful experience for all. Here are 2 helpful tips. First, consider at least 3 communities. You don't have to settle for the first one you visit. Second, understand the full cost. Obtain estimates for all fees. You don't have to travel this journey alone. Let Oasis Senior Advisors help you navigate this process.
South Orange Dental Center offers high-tech dental care in a friendly, informative, caring, and professional manner. Our new state-of-the-art technology like lasers, CEREC, and digital x-rays provide you with the best family-friendly dental care available. If you or a family member needs general, cosmetic, or pediatric dentistry, our team is here to help. South Orange Dental Center is also available for dental emergencies, and financing is available. Call or visit online. Experienced care to keep your family smiling.
It's the question every parent asks.
I'm very excited for you to meet my boyfriend.
The Flemings are in the house!
Oh, my God.
Why him?
I remember being that age, don't you? Always ready.
I'm going to ask Steffi to marry me.
Yeah. No.
When I met Steffi, I went on my phone, deleted every other woman I was sleeping with. Like a Victorian gentleman.
Why him?
Check FIOS first for the newest releases to instantly rent or buy.
Jake Moss with the game-tying goal to send us to the start of our first overtime. Welcome you back here on Verizon FIOS 1 Sports from down the road of Westfield High School. Good one that we have seen all during the course of the day. A 5-1 lead for Pingry. Westfield up 6-5, and then that as time expires in regulation. Jake Moss, the senior, the wherewithal to catch and shoot in one motion. Dury with the setup, and now the all-important face-off to begin overtime. Grab by Zuzai. An immediate timeout will come for Mike Webster, which is common, and the first opportunity with a flag that was just thrown.
Well, Pingry had not scored in 21 minutes and 59 seconds, nearly 22 minutes without a goal, which is almost identical to what happened to Westfield in the first half of this game. But when you take a look at possessions, you take a look at the draws, it was 3-3 in faceoffs.
I think not only do we have a face-off win for Pingry, they may be going to a man up. You see the flag behind the referees. It was Uzai who grabbed it. Haven't seen any official indication as to who the penalty would be on or how long it will be.
Either way, those Pingry face-offs, I'll tell you, up 12-4. Keeping in mind, once again, it was 3-3 at the half. They've won 9 of the last 10. Absolutely stellar. However, the turnovers and that defense of Westfield have made it a tie game.
We'll see if we can take a peek at what the potential penalty could be off the face-off. That's Moss coming in. Zuzai with it. Don't see anything that would indicate a penalty, but they may have picked it up as there is nobody kneeling in the box. And 3 midfield players, 3 defenders will go into the defensive side for Westfield. Pingry will get the first chance here in the first overtime.
Now, if you're Pingry, it's a matter of setting up the play and who do you get it to? Is it Enman? Is it Moss? It is a golden goal.
Any goal wins it. First chance for Pingry. Dillon going left against Aslanian. Right has it stick checked by McElroy. Good presence to pick it back up. Moss, the hero, will try it again. Save is made by McCauley.
It was a tough shot from pretty far out. McCauley was able to keep an eye on it and make the very, very important save.
Let's see if Westfield, as they advance here, will also use their timeout. Over midfield, Warnow. There's the whistle and the timeout. It'll be the Blue Devils who will have a chance here in the first overtime.
As expected, they cross midfield, call the timeout. That is the traditional rule of thought or train of thought for coaches here in this 4-minute golden goal overtime.
20th time that these two schools have played in the Bristol Bowl. Westfield leading the series 11-8 coming in. They've been able to keep the trophy from 2015, hold on to it in 2016. There's a look at the hardware as the two teams did not play last year because of the late season scheduling conflict between county and state playoffs. You win it, you keep it for at least a year up until the next time the two teams play. Westfield's first opportunity with possession here in overtime. Again, any goal wins it. Warnow will be the guy who will start with it. .235 and rolling. It's McLane, Nolan. Very open set. That's Bond on the attempt. Paid the price for the shot. Possession kept as Nolan was behind the net. Less than 2. Up top, Warnow. Bond, the lefty shot. Couldn't get the follow through. Defended well by Pingry.
That was number 40, Ben Peacock.
That one, top shelf! And Westfield wins. McLane, the hero. Westfield will hold on to the Bristol Bowl. A rocket just under the crossbar gives Westfield the win.
Pingry had every opportunity to come away with the Bristol Bowl, walking off the field dejected. I can only imagine how heartbroken they are, but my goodness, the tenacity, the strength, the durability of this Westfield team. Let's take a look at this goal by our star sophomore player, Devin McLane. An absolute rocket. Finishes off the day with the hat trick and the game-winning goal. 3 goals, 2 assists for the sophomore. Absolutely stellar victory for Westfield. Devastating defeat for Pingry, but my goodness, one heck of a game.
The celebration for Westfield, one last look at it. An unlikely angle. The stick throw, the celebration, and the win for Westfield, who will go to 3-2 on the year. An overtime victory over Pingry 7-6. We come back to wrap right after this on Verizon, FIOS Sports.
Today's luxury car buyer looks for an amazing design and the ultimate in driving comfort.
They want top quality materials in the cabin and a car that's fun to drive.
Plus, they want technology that keeps them connected and safe at all times.
We've just described the Buick Regal.
If you're looking at any of these brands, do yourself a favor and test drive the ultimate luxury vehicle.
The all-new Buick Regal. Lease one for just $199 a month.
Test drive a Regal at Greenbrook Buick GMC, Route 22 East.
I'm not loving it.
Well, it's in our budget.
There's no selection here. We can't even find somebody to help us. Can we please just go to Wayne Tile? This is exactly what I was looking for.
And it's in our budget! Yeah! Yeah! Yes! Yes!
Wayne Tile. Stop by and get inspired.
And we could deliver it this week.
Yes! Yes! Between paying the rent,
work, the kids, our big family reunion,
and finding more room for us.
It's time we get a place of our own.
But how? When?
That's where Columbia Bank fits in.
Columbia Bank makes getting the home of your dreams a possibility. With online applications and fast approvals, you can get great rates and terms for a mortgage that fits your needs.
Balancing our financial lives with a place of our own?
We see Columbia Bank.
You want to be the next big thing. The next LeBron. The truth is, we don't need more LeBrons.
We don't need more Adrianas.
We don't need more Drews.
We need more of me.
We need more kids to see the world of possibilities. That's why Verizon is giving free tech, free access, and hands-on learning to students in need. Join us at weneedmore.com.
After not playing a season ago, the Bristol Bowl will stay in Westfield for another season as the Blue Devils come back from a 5-1 deficit. They've now won 4 straight in the series, go up 12-8 in their rivalry with Pingry. Big reason why the sophomore, Devin McLane, who's standing by with Colin Cosell.
3 goals, 2 assists on the day, not the least of which was the game-winning goal in overtime. Devin McLane, tell me something. Your team was down 5-1. You guys came back to take the lead and then gave up the lead to take it to overtime. Tell me what was going on with your team. We've got our theories. You tell me what happened on the field.
We had a rough first half, but we came out, made some adjustments. Our offense started clicking. The defense was getting some stops, and we put it away and did what we needed to do.
Now, I've never scored a game-winning goal. I was a goalie, so I have no idea what it's like. Tell me when that play was set up, and you had a tough angle shot, too, to have the confidence to get that ball in the back of the net. What was going through your mind leading up to the shot and as the ball went to the back of the net?
Last year in the county final, I had a similar shot in overtime, so I had the confidence to take that. My team trusted me, my coach trusted me, and I knew I'd back up if I missed that, but just stuck it in. We ended it.
And a sophomore to boot, so we've got more years ahead to watch this young man play. Absolutely stellar game. I repeat, 3 goals, 2 assists, the game winner, and the Bristol Cup goes to Westfield.
Well, I appreciate the hero today, the sophomore Devin McLane, coming by and giving us a couple of minutes, a hat trick and a couple of assists. Big game today as well for Jake Warnow. He also had a hat trick. The two players combining for 6 of the 7 goals for Westfield. The Blue Devils go to 3-2 on the season. They keep the Bristol Bowl here in Westfield. For Pingry, they fall to 3-3. Big game today for them out of George Enman, who had a hat trick in his own right. Jake Moss, that goal at the end of regulation to send it to overtime. Westfield one better today than Pingry. Want to thank everyone involved, including producer-director Frank Lasquadro, Bill Bromberg, our statistician, for all of us here at Verizon FIOS One Sports. This is Matt Harmon for Colin Cosell saying so long from Westfield. The Blue Devils beat the Big Blue 7-6 in overtime.
This has been a special presentation of Verizon.